Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Jason Mackey's First 10, a quick hit podcast to get you ready for the day. Today is Wednesday, August 7th in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and well, we could have a gigantic day on our hands. We really could. Whole lot of stuff going on. Very real chance, it seems like, that Brandon Aiyuk is traded to the Steelers. Who knows? The bigger story in my mind is going to be Sidney Crosby and the possibility of him signing an extension, maybe finishing his career in Pittsburgh. We'll see. It is 8-7. We know his adoration for that number. I think it's just a pretty big pivot point. I wrote this earlier in the week about getting something done. It would make all the sense in the world. If we get past today with Sid, not so sure. So going to mainly talk Steelers and Pirates. Before we do any of that, though, I want to remind you that we're sponsored by the North Shore Tavern. You don't have to be a baseball fan to love it there. The interior is wall-to-wall Pirates. There are appetizers, entrees, cocktails, and, of course, steak and seafood on a sizzling lava stone. Open every day. The North Shore Tavern across from PNC Park is Pittsburgh's home for steak on a stone. So if anybody was watching the Pirates game last night, and not necessarily the start, about an hour in, I would say, when they were theoretically going to resume around 8:15, you were probably like me, glued to the television, watching dudes squeegee water in the outfield. Could not believe that. I still can't believe it. And by the way, the Pirates lost to the San Diego Padres. We'll talk a little bit about that. But that was such a scene. I've never seen anything like that. I was surprised they played the game, to be honest with you. I worried about safety. And I mean, obviously they were out there. I was sitting in my family room, they're going to know a lot more than me, and they had to consult with Major League Baseball about whether it was safe or not. But for a while there, boy, it did not look like they were going to be able to play. Now, there are some functional things about tonight and that happening that I don't think is great for the Pirates, or don't think will be great for the Pirates. So Bailey Falter, because of the timing and everything, can't really come back. He looked good 2 innings through just 20 pitches. The way the Pirates typically do things with starting pitchers, you're not going to bring them back after a delay. I mean, certainly not after the outfield flooding, and that caused things. In addition, I think it was a final 2:40 delay. After they couldn't get that water to drain. I mean, forget about it. Everybody was done then. But even the initial one, it's tough. And so you go through a lot of relievers. It was a tough night at the office for the Pirates. I mean, just not a good one overall. San Diego gets those 4 runs in the 5th inning. Pirates have some problems catching the ball. The bats are largely quiet. And it's just, I don't want this to be a pivot point for their season. Now, think about where we're at. This really weird thing happening in the outfield. Number one, having an impact on the game. The Pirates chewed through, what am I looking at? 5 relievers, 5 pitchers, Falter, Woodford, Nicholas, Stratton, Santana. Not great as you take it into Wednesday's game. And Wednesday's game, by the way, isn't going to be easy. I talked on yesterday's First 10 about Michael King, the Padres starter. And then the way this went down, Dylan Cease could easily come back on Thursday. Dylan Cease, as you know, is no slouch. So it was just a tough, weird, difficult night that I certainly hope doesn't snowball on the Pirates. And again, we talked the other day about this absolutely being a series that the Pirates need to win to stay in the race for the wild card, stay in the race for the Central Division. Basically, just keep, Derek Shelton likes to say, keep moving the ball forward. This would be moving the season forward a little bit. So I hope this doesn't snowball into more, but kind of a frustrating night for the Buccos. Going to take a short break here and then delve into some football topics. Stay with us after a message from the Bradenton Area Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Embrace the laid-back charm of island life while sinking your toes in the sand and discovering real, authentic Florida in the Bradenton area. Unspoiled beauty and pristine beaches, a vibrant waterfront downtown energized by local arts and culture, fresh Floridian cuisine with a flourish of rich history, and friendly locals ready to welcome you to this preserved paradise on Florida's Gulf Coast. Plan your visit today at BradentonGulfIslands.com.
Welcome back to First 10. I'm your host, Jason Mackey, and did have one more baseball note that I didn't get to throw in there yesterday that I wanted to make sure I included today because there's some additional news with it. Thomas Harrington, formerly with AA Altoona, now with AAA Indianapolis, was named the Eastern League Pitcher of the Month in 4 games started, 2-0, 0.70 ERA, 32 strikeouts, 170 batting average against. Bottom line, he's been absolutely dominant for the Curve, and now moving up to AAA, and that's my point. Take a look at the AAA rotation, by the way. We'll see what happens the rest of this season. Wouldn't be surprised if we see one or two of these guys, especially maybe if the Pirates fall out of contention. Maybe you try to give them a cup of coffee. I don't know. Anyway, Bubba Chandler, Thomas Harrington, Mike Burrow, Braxton Ashcraft when he gets back from an injury. Not bad. Some exciting arms there with AAA Indy to follow. But that was not the meat and potatoes of this second segment that I wanted to get to. That, of course, is one Mr. Brandon Aiyuk. And I hope this thing ends soon. I think it will. I'm a little surprised it hasn't to this point. That was the point of my column yesterday. I was up in Latrobe, and given the information we had at the time, I was just more interested, honestly, in focusing on the wide receivers the Steelers do have. When I reported that and when I wrote it, it was all, the Steelers were out of it. They've moved on. And then things changed. Right after I filed it, there was the news from Adam Schefter that the Steelers are still in it. It doesn't change my opinion on the trade, the possibility of the trade. He's a great player. He can absolutely help them. Not going to argue with that one bit. Is that the best way for the Steelers to spend $30 million? I don't know. I look at what they have, needs, stuff coming down the pike, and I do worry about having all that money tied up into wide receivers because it's not going to be long before they're going to have to pay George Pickens too. And are you going to let Pickens go? I wouldn't think so. I hope not. And you look at that dynamic duo, great, but what else surrounds them? Right now, the Steelers, and I talked about this yesterday, are getting a crazy bargain on their quarterback. They're spending hardly any money relative to the NFL. It would not be insane if they had a $30 million jump in quarterback pay next year. Well, okay, keep looking around. You're probably going to have to pay Joey Porter Jr. eventually. You're going to want to keep him. Strong cornerback play that costs money. Broderick Jones is going to grow into a viable left tackle. That's also going to cost money. The cap can be manipulated. Seemingly it will. But, I mean, there is a cap somewhere. There is a ceiling somewhere. And I guess I understand if they can get Aiyuk for maybe cheaper than market value, if they can get some sort of discount on him, that is some leverage that the Steelers have that maybe the Browns, the Patriots, that they don't have, that he wants to go there. And if the 49ers want to get something done, the Steelers have leverage when it comes to what they give up. And they probably have leverage with Aiyuk to say, like, look, we know you can make X over there. This is what we have available over here. And boy, it sure seems like he wants to be here. If it happens, I mean, my goodness, how do you not love the Steelers at this point to maybe contend a little bit more in the AFC North? Go to the playoffs, win a playoff game, have a functional offense. I'm not sure where that line falls with me, but I know I feel a heck of a lot better about their chances this year. I have some big picture concerns, but yeah, I mean, I think it depends on what the package comes out looking like. And again, what the compensation would look like on another contract. It does give me some, I don't know, pause, questions to ask, that sort of stuff, big picture. So it's not all about Brandon Aiyuk either. There's some other stuff happening in Steelers land that I think is worth touching on at this point. Russell Wilson came back and actually was a pretty regular participant at practice, took 4 of 7 snaps in 7 shots, threw a touchdown pass to George Pickens that was absolutely gorgeous. I think we're seeing sort of a trend developing. He's going to be back. He's going to take on more. He's going to be your starter week 1, in my opinion. I think Justin Fields got some reps. He'll probably start against the Titans or the Texans on Friday in their preseason opener, but this is Russell Wilson's show. Very much believe that. And I think we're seeing the process of him getting in there more and getting acclimated with his new team. Another thing that I thought was notable to come out of practice on Tuesday was Troy Fautanu getting a ton of first team reps. I think we're also seeing the start of a trend here where they work him in at right tackle. Broderick Jones was actually at the second team a lot of the Tuesday's practice. Wouldn't shock me, though, if he winds up beating out Dan Moore. I think that's probably inevitable there. And so you've got Fautanu and Broderick Jones, your bookend tackles, growing together. I like that. Mason McCormick has seen his role grow a little bit. Isaac Seumalo had a Veterans Day off, and McCormick got some extra reps there. I'm going to have a column on that later in the week. But that's it for today. We'll find out. I'm obviously recording this right after the Pirates game. So, we don't have any news on Sidney Crosby, but it will be interesting to see where I go. There's a Pirates game tonight, a possibility of a Sidney Crosby signing, Brandon Aiyuk trade. Have very little what this day is going to entail, and that's what makes this job awesome. So we'll figure it out together. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. You can get all of these videos and plenty more from the rest of our staff on the North Shore Drive podcast and YouTube network. Be back here same time, same place. Talk to you tomorrow.
Thank you for checking out this content from Post-Gazette Sports. If you watch this video on YouTube, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. For all of the sports coverage the Post-Gazette has to offer, visit post-gazette.com.